Adventureland has 4 players sending their adventurers out to collect items and riches and fight monsters. Habba provided this in exchange for an honest review. The game includes 3 adventures, each with slightly different rules and scoring. I'll focus on the first, the Fellowship. The central board is divided into 110 spaces marked by column and row labels, C5, K9, and so on. Spaces show terrain type, city, forest, river, mountain, or fog. In the top left is a column and row where players' adventure meeples start. The final spaces are used in 2-player games only. There's 1 matching terrain card for every board space, each with an item: silver companion, herb, gold, sword, or fog monster. When a card is drawn, place the item on that location. Herbs and swords are placed face down. Gold and fog monsters go face up. Before player 1 takes their first turn, draw 8 cards to prepare the board. When you place gold, move the water sprite along the river and place it on top of the tile. Any adventurers or companions caught in the water sprite's path are removed from the game. In clockwise order, perform 2 actions on your turn. First, reveal and resolve 2 terrain cards. Second, move up to 2 adventurers. You may twice move 1 adventurer in one direction as far as you'd like, or may once move 2 adventurers in one direction as far as you'd like. The main movement rule is you may only move south and or east. You may jump other adventurers, companions, or tiles, but not fog creatures or the water sprite. When you stop in a space with a tile, pick it up. Depending on the adventure you're playing, you may score points immediately or at the end of the game. You may secretly peek at the value of your herb or sword tiles. If you stop on a tile with a companion, it joins you on your adventure. When an adventurer lands on a tile with the fog monster, begin combat. Win and gain the tile, which is worth victory points. Lose and your adventurer and companions are removed from the game. The fog monster's combat strength is in red. The number in the laurel wreath equals victory points in 2 of the 3 scenarios. To defeat a fog monster, you must have equal or greater combat strength. Your adventurer has a combat strength of 1, and each companion adds 1 more. Before fighting, decide if you wish to wager up to 3 sword tiles. Each allows you to roll 1d6 die, and the total adds to your combat strength. Some swords have a blue number, which also adds to combat strength. You may spend as many herbs in battle as you wish, each adding the combat strength printed on them. Gold can be used to add 1 combat strength to your total, or can be sent to re-roll 1 die. You must accept the new roll, although you can spend as many gold as you have. Spent tiles are discarded after the fight. For example, I'm fighting a fog monster of 12 with my adventurer worth 1 point, and 2 companions worth 2 more. I spent 2 swords to roll 2 dice and roll 7. The 1 sword gives me 1 additional combat point. I'm only at 11, so I have to spend an herb. It's worth 3, which gives me more than enough to defeat the fog monster. I then discard all those spent tiles. Continue until the starting supplies of both companions and swords run out. Finish so each player gets the same number of turns, then begin endgame scoring, if any, depending on that adventure. Recruit companions and collect items to defeat monsters. Avoid that water sprite and keep your goal in mind. That's Adventureland. Adventureland's board is large, not Fury of Dracula large though, and bit piles and growing player areas. Stick to the dining table. Our games average an hour, including setup and takedown. Length depends on luck and players though. I'll talk about player counts later. There's no reading, and math is grade 1 or 3, depending on the adventure. 2 adventures don't have in-game scoring, so clever players may have an advantage if they can track and deduce how others are doing. This doesn't affect the entry level though, meaning experienced 7 or 8-year-olds could try the first adventure. In our 4th game of Adventureland, we played the 3rd adventure. Our goal was to gather in/control the cities and not be stranded outside with the monsters. I scooped up companions whenever possible and rushed for the cities. Once I was close to first in all the valuable ones, I used my other adventurers to fight. That took all the swords on us, but my rolls kept me alive. Poor Mom lost track of time, and 3 or 4 of her adventurers were left behind. I won. Comfortably. Oh yeah. Adventureland's name is boring, but the theme is interesting and works really well with the movement mechanism. You are brave heroes, not cowards, meaning you never go backwards. The meeples are thick and stand out against the board, but the herb and sword tiles blend in too easily. The fog monster art is different depending on their strength, which is a cool touch. The rules are straightforward, with few exceptions. You can teach this game in under 10 minutes, and the adventure rule changes for each scenario only take about an additional minute or two. Even though the changes sound small, they make a difference in how the adventures feel. The first is fairly simple, but the public scoring means everyone can use that information to predict their opponent's actions. Herbs and swords gain point values in the second adventure, and gold is valuable in all adventures. The second is more of an optimization puzzle because you'll have to figure out how to get your adventures and companions together. Only your largest collection scores. The third is a race to control the cities. Fog monsters are a pain in all three, similar yet different decisions and priorities. Clever. There's a lot of luck mitigation, probably because they knew families and or groups with different age and skill levels would be playing. Tiles come out randomly, and there's the combat dice, but it's your decision, thanks to the swords, how many dice to roll, and if they give you any additional bonuses. I explained in the overview how companions, gold, and herbs also help. This all makes the fights tough, but not impossible, allowing the real game to be the puzzle and risk-reward system. There can be analysis paralysis. Which adventurer should you move? What items should you pick up? Should you fight now or wait? And so on. AP is when you freeze when you need to make decisions. For us, we zip along without issues and there's next to no downtime. In some groups, this could slow things quite a bit. Keep that in mind. I've only played the 3-player game, but this would feel different with 2 and 4 players. There would be fewer or more opponents to compete for items, block spaces, and so on. This is especially true for the third adventure, Escape to the Cities, where some players won't be able to get their adventures in all the cities. There are 32 adventurers in a 4-player game, but only 30 city spots. Adventureland offers a surprising amount of gameplay and choices. It has clever mechanisms such as the movement and varied scoring, and replay value thanks to the 3 scenarios and randomness. There's an out-of-print expansion that adds even more scenarios and goodies. I hope it's reprinted soon. Don't let the bland name fool you. I think families with kids my age and older will find a lot to like in Adventureland.